Hello and welcome back. I'm excited to be setting up my second bullet journal of 2020 with you today. This time around, I've moved to a much smaller journal. This is an A6 Stalogy. I'm really excited to be trying this. It has significantly thinner pages, and then across the top there, it has a sort of Hobonichi style running calendar where you can mark the day, the date of and the month to have it all there. And then on the left hand side, it has the hours. So you just saw me set up my index, and I used a Pentel Sign flexible brush pen for that. And now I am using a black Tombow marker to set up my annual goals. So if you watched my first setup video, you'll know that I looked at 5 different areas of my life and set goals for each of those for 2020, and then broke down what it would look like monthly to achieve those goals. So instead of saying something like, get fit, I have broken down month by month which exercise regimen to try. So here I'm picking up where I left off, and this will begin with June's goals. I am sorry for cropping off some of this down here. Trying a new setup, and I definitely did not realize how much was being cut off. Anyway, so here you see I'm writing across the categories at the top. Down on the left, I will write the months. I actually make a mistake and have to kind of cross through that, but that's okay. It happens. So one thing to note in these thinner pages is that ballpoint pens and other fine tip pens can cause indentions. So you'll see me using more marker and felt tip pens than I would normally use in a setup. For watching me rub out here, you probably noticed my hands look awful. Yesterday I stained a deck, and the stain is just not coming off my hands, and it's made the fingernail polish hard to get off, so hopefully I can get that dealt with soon. Anyway, back to the video. So you just saw me write in goals there. I just finished reading Rydell Carroll's The Bullet Journal Method and was really inspired by his insight into the original idea behind the bullet journal system and some of the prompts he gives. So I am trying to be sure to add headers so that I can actually use my index. I feel like the index is something that's so maybe controversial in the online bullet journal community. So many of us don't use our indexes, even though they can be really helpful. So again, with this new journal, I am recommitting to using my index. What I'm working on now is my future log. I'm doing the next 6 months, so July through December. Didn't include June because the month of June will be in this journal for the first setup, so that was just a bit redundant. You saw me write in there with a Uniball Signo gel pen, and then again the headers are with the Pentel Sign pen. On the back of this page, I did a sort of Alistair style additional future log for 2021. So I did January through December, and then a space for the date itself, and then a space for the event. To the right hand side of this additional future log, I'm putting in the moon phases. This is a spread that has stuck with me through at least my past 4 bullet journals, and I find it really helpful for workings, and I do a lot of tarot readings around the different moon phases. So one thing I'm adding in this time, in addition to the dates for each new, first, full, and third quarter moons, I'm leaving a space to write in the sign. Lately I've really enjoyed developing some tarot spreads based around the sign the moon is in and associated cards. So I'm looking forward to using that space to sort of fill it in and be a little more prepared. On that note, I am not going to be including any sort of tarot tracker here. I'm going to try in this journal tracking tarot monthly as I have been, or even weekly, to see if that helps. Alright, moving on to my reading log. I'm doing the same sort of reading tracker that I've always done. I guess I haven't done anything else. It's just a bookshelf style. I did not fill up the whole page, though I do think, based on the number of books I've drawn in, I may actually get to draw a few more books this time, which is exciting. But I left space at the bottom to do a key, a color key. In my current bullet journal, I've color-coded the genre of books and have really enjoyed that. So I plan to do that. And time out for a moment here. I'm using a Staedtler Tri-Plus fine liner to add in the decorations on the shelf. This is a felt tip pen that, as long as you aren't bearing down real hard on it, can just sort of sit on the page instead of indent the page. Anyway, back to the overall setup. The left-hand side is the bookshelf with some decorations and space for a few more books on the bottom. And the right-hand side I'm leaving open to be a place to mark down books that I want to read or have been suggested to me, or who knows, if I'm really super productive, I may add even more bookshelves over there. Now, despite what I said about not tracking the tarot, I did pull over my spread from this last bullet journal where I write the tarot card I drew at the beginning of the year for each month. Again, I messed up here. I meant to start with June. I started with July. I may add June down at the bottom under December, or I may just skip it. But I'll come back in and write which card I drew, and ideally do a little journaling about what happened each month, and kind of learn more about that specific deck as I interpret it. Right now you're seeing me write in some numbers, and these are associated with the 12 astrological houses of a natal chart. This is my sort of birth chart check-in that I do at the beginning of every journal. You can see here I'm referencing my old journal over to the right. What I do is I draw out a natal chart. I don't put my placements in it, but I leave space in each of the houses, and I journal about how things are going in that area of my life. Then in the larger space to the right and on the following pages, I journal about what I want those areas to look like. Sometimes in the past I've included an additional page where I make goals to help me achieve those, but for now I have decided to leave that out. Alright, and going back to the very beginning, I am adding in a title page with 2020, and then jumping back to my houses here. Can you see I'm just numbering them? I color code this just for fun. I do a dark blue on the bottom for the internal and a lighter blue for the external on the top part of the chart. So one thing you're seeing here is I'm writing in the ruler from me on my houses, a little personal, but I thought it would be nice to have as a little cheat sheet as I'm looking at the moon phases for and what sign those are in. I can flip back to this quickly and see which house each sign rules for me. Okay, now we're back to the beginning. And I decided to add in a little illustration here. This is a tulip with a bulb visible on it and some roots. Tulips are interesting flowers to me. They can be really lovely, but they can also be a bit cloying. And I really find that the bulb adds a layer of sophistication and just interest to drawings of tulips. So you'll see me work on it here with this Triplus fineliner in gray, and then I will come back in with a light gray Tombow dual brush marker and add a few highlights with it as well. And finally, I am adding in my Walking to Mordor tracker. So for this, I printed out a copy of Rivendell to Lothlorien, scaled it down a little and trimmed it, and I'm taping it in so that I can use it for my biking to Mordor that I'm doing this year. It's going to make the journal a bit bumpy, but I'm excited to see how it works out. And here's the final flip through. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.